Good afternoon to the respected panel. My name is CHANDNI MAUHIK and I belong to Gujarat, and I am a research scholar with JLS doctorate school, and I am presenting on the topic impact of COVID-19 pandemic on consumer buying behavior. It is a special case for luxury products. In my PPT, I shall be talking about the introduction, the literature review that I have done, the research design, analysis, findings, the implications and the limitations, and also the conclusion and recommendations that I have derived from the study. Let me begin with the introduction. As we all know, COVID-19 had a very profound shift in the consumer behavior, raising very pivotal questions as to what long-term implication as to how the market will impact after COVID-19, and how the consumer behavior or the purchasing capacity will be affected, and it will not remain as conventional as expected. The shift in the consumer behavior buying pattern due to COVID has been phenomenal, and there have been various studies that also been done on the same topic, not on the luxury one. Relevance of the study in the era of luxury materialism, comprehending consumer behavior is pivotal for the luxury brands aiming to forge meaningful connections. In this study, I aim to dissect the impact of consumer perceptions and behavior in terms of luxury brands products and illuminate certain implications for the luxury brands market and its stakeholders. Literature review. I'll start with explaining what is consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is a complex field that investigates how individual makes decisions regarding the purchase and disposal of goods and services. It also includes various factors that affect, such as cultural, psychological, social, personal, pivoting the whole shape of consumer choices. There are factors that affect our cultural as to how we as subcultures, social class impact our choices. Even the social, the family groups, the reference groups that we are a part of it affects our attitude and behavior. There are psychological factors such as motivation, perceptions, beliefs, and attitudes that impact as to what are we going to buy and when are we going to buy it. There are personal factors that are the demographic factors, mostly with our age, occupation, lifestyle, the economic conditions of the situations we are present in. Now I'll talk about luxury brands and luxury consumer behavior specifically in India. Now, when I talk about luxury goods, it states as luxury goods are the products whose brand value and pricing are artificially maintained to convey a different status and the set of values and aura of exclusivity and differentiation, generating higher emotional and aesthetic satisfaction for the consumer. Understanding consumer behavior towards luxury brand in India has been and endured. Luxury branding transcends conventional marketing strategies, demanding a very, very different approach. Indian consumer exhibit a kind of unique mindset and possesses different worldwide view compared to the various counterparts of other markets. In the dynamic, luxury is not just about product acquisition, it is mostly about the experience that captures and the desire to buy, its exclusivity, its prestige, and its self-expressions. Luxury goods are those goods whose brand value and pricing are deliberately a tad higher to maintain, like I said, the aura of being exclusive and different. The consumption of luxury item again is a multifaceted process intertwined with various notions of personal identity and recognition. So luxury brands are perceived as premium goods which requires a high involvement of decision making, right? Consumers seek luxury items both for material safety and social fulfillment to show a tad higher social status. Also, identity plays a significant role in purchasing behavior, especially for luxury products. Now, how consumer preferences evolve, especially for luxury products. In the Indian market, we can see there is a transition of conventional class-based structure, which is more fluid and dynamic. Previously, Indian consumer markets were stratified into affluent class towards products. Then there is middle class who opt for a high-end products and largely economically challenged class. But today in the new generation, Indian consumer has set a specific benchmark, and it is no longer restricted in the strata that was previously been seen. There are huge number of consumers who are purchasing different luxury products, including jewelry, tableware, vehicles, watches, perfumes, etc. The evolution of these includes increased disposable income and because of the global trends that have been affected Indian market. Despite of the Indian luxury shift, there are still stages and where certain growth and innovations are there, but still people restrict themselves in buying. The key points that I discussed in this were the shift of the influence because of the disposable income and the exposure is still growing stage. India is on a still growing stage, and we still are trying to compel value with the prices of the premium products. Now, let us talk about the COVID immediate effect that happened on the luxury consumer buying behavior. On the onset of COVID pandemic, there was a significant shift as to the purchasing power. Lockdown, social distances, they imposed mobility. They fundamentally altered the landscapes of the retails and our consumer experiences. The scarcity of going to a certain location to stop the restrictions made us reevaluate, do we really want excess luxury goods now or even post COVID-19. With the reduced commutes and time spent at home, consumer possess a greater freedom and in altering their consumption patterns. However, the shift was not that much challenging as shared living spaces become increasingly important in work, education, and leisure. New conflicts arises as to what is to be purchased, and the decision making of various products was being affected by the same. Now, when I did this literature review, I found certain research gap. Number one is the pandemic research is very much limited because still we feel that the post-pandemic effect is people have not been talking about it. There is very less research done in that, especially in the luxury shopping trends. I also, there was, when I did the literature study, there was very less talking about sustainable luxury. So my study does focus on sustainability and ethical consideration for the same. Also, geographic variation, I have opted for only Indian market. I am not focused on the global one. And for the Indian luxury market, there were very less research to be done. The scope of a study, I am focusing on the luxury shopping behavior, which delivers in motivation, preferences, and decision making. Pre and post-pandemic comparison can be done once I have studied the post-pandemic situation. Factors that influence can also gain insights as to what it can be done for the next marketer. Also, geographical constraint, like I said, I have studied Indian market rather than the global one. So my focus on for the Indian marketers can be useful later. Research design, there's a qualitative and quantitative approach that is being used. I have collected surveys via online, and a cross-sectional approach was been allowed for studying the consumer preferences. The objective, my first objective, is to find out which luxury brands and products align with the consumer preferences, what they want to buy, and which brands they prefer more. To access the influence of the post-pandemic consumer attitude towards luxury product, sustainability features on their purchase intention. Are they keeping sustainability in their head while they are purchasing luxury products? My second is to investigate, are they taking into consideration the environmental and the social responsibility on consumer propensity to opt for sustainable luxury buying in aftermath of COVID pandemic? And lastly, to analyze the correlation between consumer inclination towards sustainable luxury purchases and their perception on the products such as long-term values, quality, etc. post-COVID. My survey designs I've collected through your online survey Qualtrics and survey. It was designed with the help of SurveyMonkey. Then data collection was being done, which was the secondary data was being considered with Emerald, Procust, and Google Scholar. I have collected through random sampling 200 samples, but out of which 190 were being used for the study. I have used SPSS and Excel for the analysis. Now, as you can see, the graph shows there are the demographic analysis. The age, 72 respondents belonging to the sections of 15 to 25, whereas 46 were ranging between 25 to 35. 35 people were within 35 to 45 age group, and the remaining 6 of them were above the age of 65. Then male and female, my study was inclined via collecting. I found out that more females were into luxury buying, so 153 females were there and 38 males. Excuse me. The graph of qualification is showed. The maximum participants had completed post-graduations, followed with graduation. People were educated, and less educated people did not participate in this study that much. The participants were mainly self-employed. 50 of them belonged to the private sector, and the remaining belonged to the government sector. I also focused on the income scale. So maximum people came from the bracket of 60 to 90,000 per annum salaries, whereas the some of the participants have a larger bracket, while 50 of them were from the lower bracket, that is from 30 to 60,000 salary. Most of the participants were married, 56 of them were single, and 35 of them had different statuses. Now, when I talk about the first objective is to find out which brands are being selected, we can clearly see through the series that Hugo Boss holds the highest preference, followed by Givenchy and Fendi. The brands were selected with the help of the secondary study, and out of that, these 10 brands were being selected. And we can also see that Alexandra McQueen and Roberto Cavalli had the least preferences, because also one of the reasons that both these brands are not that much easily available in the Indian market. The graph shown as to when people often buy luxury products, 66 of them buy yearly, few of them opt for weekly or monthly as per their income statuses, but most of them said that they would buy it occasionally when is needed. Through the survey, it can also be seen the type of product that they were much more inclined. So we can see that the people do opt for diamond jewelries, luxury perfumes and apparels, along with the bottled champagne and shoes. Whereas when we talk the least buying product is the art, because somewhere people are not that much inclined towards buying exclusive paintings and spend money on that. My first hypothesis is there is no significant difference in the intention to buy the luxury product based on the different motivations. I have ran an ANOVA test with the various factors that have been derived, and it can be seen that most of the factors have less value than 0.01, signifying that we reject the null hypothesis. That implies that there are statistically differences in the consumer intentions when they buy product based on the various motivations. The findings for this particular hypothesis stated that when we talk about personal style, consumer expresses a significant preference to emphasize their own style when they want to buy luxury product. Another prominent motivation for luxury shopping posts is one reflects personal taste and interest. Consumer is also inclined towards purchasing luxury brand that is aligned with their personality. There is a significant difference in the buying along with the timelessness styles. Timelessness styles can stand for watches and everything, where it can go on for years and years and can create legacies. Excuse me. And other is consumer highly value long lasting quality affordable luxury products, because at the end of the day, a consumer is spending high amount on it. My second hypothesis stated that there is no significant difference in the individual intention to buy the luxury product based on the various sustainable motivation. When we go through the ANOVA, when we go to the ANOVA results, we see that we reject the null hypothesis because most of them lies between 0.01 as the p-value is less than that, and the finding states that consumer express a moderate inclination towards buying products if they are into the sustainable purchases. There is a strong preference of purchasing luxury products that are environmental friendly, that's for sure. Consumers show a significant interest in buying products that are social, responsible, and fulfill their principal functions. And there's a moderate preference to buy luxury products with the intention of using them for an extended period. The study also reveals various individual intentions to purchase the products as per sustainable motivation. Environmental friendliness and the combination of responsibility emerge as the most influential factors. My third hypothesis states that there is no significant difference in the attitude of material possession. When we talk about materialism post COVID-19, and I'll just show you the ANOVA that I have run with the factors. So the ANOVA analysis states that there is this distinctive towards expensive ownership and amazing. However, while then when we talk about the whole ANOVA analysis, we can see that most of them are higher than 0.01. That's why we do not reject the null hypothesis. The other things that can be the analysis, the findings that can be found through the various factors are administration of expensive items. There is significant attitude in admiring who possesses the expensive cars and homes. Consumer expresses a high significant variation when they opt for materialism while they're purchasing. individuals place substantial emphasis on the number of material objects, especially once COVID ends. The item of person owned are not considered indicator as the well-being once the COVID-19 ends. There is no significant difference in desire to own things to impress others. Paying attention to the material possession of others is not that much into consideration. The value placed in one's possession diminishes once COVID ends. Thus, by various findings, we can find out that the materialism is that the study distincts towards material possessions and specifically societal administration of expensive and perceived importance emerge as the significant factors. Uh, After all the analysis that been done, my analysis reveals that there is a shift in the consumer behavior. There is consistent, number one can be the consistent materialistic view. It remains stable, but pandemic has significantly altered their perception. Factors such as prestige, social status, and personal style have driven the luxury products. Ethical motivation for luxury shopping is also being considered. Sustainability is being taken into account. Impact of luxury brand strategies can be created, and they should embrace transparency and showcasing sustainable practices. And demand for personal luxury products is being there and will be there post COVID-19. The research implications that can be provided through my studies is shaping the luxury brand strategies can be opted for by the various marketers, eliminating consumer engagement because somewhere consumer got into the backseat when COVID-19 hit and did not enter the retail markets and opt for online shopping as per various studies that had been done. So personalized experiences is much more needed when they opt for luxury brands. Fostering industry sustainability, people now do opt for eco-friendly practices and transparent sourcing, and adapting to the new market landscape. Just because COVID had hit us very badly, there is a transformative phase in the luxury market, and that shift has to be accepted by most of the uh, luxury brand products. There was always limitations of the study that I did. There were cross-functional designs were made with casual relationship. Reliance on the reported data can be biased, unmeasured, and overlooking certain specters can be there in my findings. And the response rate and the non-response rate may have some biasness, and unforeseen external events could have affected the study. Like the lastly, I would like to conclude and give some insights as consumer behavior dynamics. Through the analysis, it is evident that behavior is multifaceted on the cultural, personal, psychological factors, and the dynamic has been crucially affected with the luxury market. Digital revolution has been there, and on the social media, which have influenced and reshaping how consumer gather information and make the post purchase. Post-COVID consumer sentiment. Yes, thank you. That is my presentation.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Is there any question?
Haji.
Ma'am. In the last slide, you have explained about the digital
Yes,
COVID system. Can you explain me what is in clearly in overall? What is your idea about that? In the last
regarding the
slide.
regarding the digital purchase of the luxury products.
In the last slide.
Haji, just a second. You're talking about the digital revolution.
The digital revolution impact.
Yeah. You most of us have now. I have actually studied mainly on online buying behavior only, and most of us have shifted our way of purchasing rather than going to the store touching because of the health issues. We have now moved to the online platforms where such things are available. Now various luxury brands such as Nike and have started using AI, where basically I can when I buy a luxury product, I can actually try them on my hand. There is this graphic there on the website where it gives me a so-called experience also that this particular product is going to help me and it's going to look good on me, and then only I'll opt for such kind of purchase, because at the end of the day when we opt for luxury purchase, there is a high amount of income disposal that we are going to do. We are going to spend a high amount of our income, so we need that experiences. So most of the marketers also have opted for to give us that the online platform where we can sit comfortably at home and buy the products and not diminish the luxury market and still spend on certain luxury products.
Okay, madam. It's okay. Fine.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am.